Hello, everybody. How are you doing on this fine? Well, it's Tuesday. It's the day after Christmas, and I'm going to address the elephant in the room. I am congested. So I'm feeling fine. I am an image of health and wellness. I have been a little under the weather, but yeah, I'm a little self conscious about the way my voice sounds. I'm aware it doesn't sound like it usually does, and I frankly put off coming on camera for as long as I could, but I couldn't put it off anymore. So, yes, my voice sounds different than usual. I'm working on it, okay? Just took my not sponsored Vive Organic Turmeric Boost Wellness Shot. You can get that from the Whole Foods. Like I said, not sponsored. I bought that with my own money. Actually, Prim bought that with his own money, and then I took it from Prim. I really appreciate and enjoy the ginger ones a little more for this type of symptoms, but I used all those. All right. So this is going to be a long live stream, kind of like the ones I have been doing lately, but I do want to get the main title slide out of the way first because I do know that some people kind of just want the Bam Margera content and then they want to go away, which I normally wouldn't really care about people's preferences, but I also don't really want those people staying around for longer than they have to either. So let's talk about Bam Margera. So as you can see in the thumbnail image of this, what are we on? Video, stream, whatever. There are what appear to be pictures of April Margera in Bam's house. Maybe it's the Hobbit hole. I don't know, somewhere where Bam keeps his stuff. And she's kind of rummaging. She's rummaging around. Let me see if I should have just pulled the picture up, but I don't really like to pull my pictures up, excuse me, on this. Sorry, I got a text. I don't really like to pull my pictures up because I have like my personal pictures and stuff like all mixed into my camera roll. So I'll see if I can find that picture. But long story short, I got a text message the other day informing me, from Bam and Danny, his fiance. Also, they got engaged. That's another big announcement, but y'all probably already saw that. Like, I don't know, why you would need me to tell y'all that. It was in like Us Weekly and some other tabloids and stuff. But I get a text message the other day and I'm informed that apparently this guy came up to Bam at one of these signing things that they do. Like Bam goes to these conventions and he signs stuff like posters or skateboards or pictures or whatever. Yeah, she's over there. I put a blankie on her back there. Um, so Bam is there like signing stuff, and this is how the story, came to me. I wasn't there. It was in Ocala, Florida. I don't know how to say the name of that, but some guy comes up to him with this pair of shoes to sign. And not only does the guy bring the pair of shoes, it was like some type of skateboard shoes, but he also brought a picture or two. Now, the pictures were like printed out 4x6 or whatever snapshots that you would take on, a camera and have developed at the Walmart or whatever, the Walgreens, wherever still does that, BH Photo, whoever. And like I said, it's on the thumbnail. Sorry, I didn't like fully prepare for this with my exhibits and stuff. I'll pull up the picture in a minute, but since we're going live, let me just get the story out. So the guy brings the shoes, he brings the picture, whatever, and he wants excuse me, and he wants Bam to sign the shoes, I think. Again, I wasn't there. This is kind of like I didn't ask for every detail, maybe I should have. But I think Bam does sign the shoes or whatever, but basically the guy then discloses to Bam, this is, hearsay, this is what was told to me, that he purchased the shoes from April, Bam's mom, about 2 years ago, which would have been around the holiday season or the end of the year of 2021. Well, and this part's where I'm just going to start speculating and saying things. But if it was 2021 when the man bought the shoes and when he took that picture of April rummaging through Bam's stuff before she sold it to this man, That means Bam was in a conservatorship, aka guardianship, at that exact time. He got put into a conservator or a guardianship. They're basically the same thing. He got put into a guardianship in Arizona, June or July 2021. In September, that was Arizona. In September, Lima Yevremovich and Stephen Timmer, working together, tried to put Bam in another guardianship, this time in Florida. So, June or July 2021, Bam gets put into a guardianship in Arizona. Uh, 2 or 3 months later, September 2021, they're making more attempts to put Bam into another guardianship in Florida. So, if it is the case that around that same time, maybe a couple months later, December-ish 2021, this guy did get those shoes from April, that would only lead to one conclusion, one possibility. Bam's family was selling his stuff for money while he was being held against his will. Now, am I just speculating that Bam was being held against his will in this conservatorship? No. No, I'm not. Bam has said himself publicly, this isn't even some hearsay, "Oh, take my word." No. Bam has said it publicly in a cameo that he was held not only once or twice or 8 or 9 times in facilities against his will in Florida. No, no. 10. 10 times. 10 facilities, Bam said he was held against his will. So while Bam was being held against his will, if this man who went to this convention is telling the truth, right? I don't know. I didn't talk to the man. I'm telling y'all what was told to me. I really don't know. I have no reason to think they would be lying to me. But if what this man was saying is true, that he did in fact purchase these shoes from April Margera in the winter of 2021, then that would mean Bam was in a conservatorship and he didn't have a say on whether or not the stuff was getting sold. Actually, right in that same time frame, December 2021, Brandon Novak went on Steve-O, the Failed Clown's podcast, and they spoke about this conservatorship, and that's actually where I heard the word conservatorship in reference to Bam Margera ever at all for the very first time. When I heard the word conservatorship, it was on Steve-O's Wild Ride podcast, and it was an appearance from December 2021. So at the same exact time that they're announcing publicly that Bam is in a conservatorship, he's in a guardianship, whatever you want to call it, April is selling off his stuff. It's very, very interesting how that timeline worked out. So, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just a clown show. They need to grow up. So, I don't really know what Bam was, thinking whenever that man walked up with his stuff or whatever. But I try to be super careful when I'm talking about this stuff because, first of all, Bam's brother, Jess, the creep, Krusty Lynn Margera, he has been known to lie about people and make lies up about people, and in particular, me. He's also sexually harassed me by continuing to make sexually depraved comments about me and in my direction after I've asked him to stop, demanded that he stop, and he hasn't. So I try to be really careful with what I say here. So what I'm going to say is just facts on this specific part right here. It is a fact that I saw pictures that appear to be, and again, it's in the thumbnail, and I'll look them up as soon as I'm done talking here. It's just gonna take me a minute to find it, but I'll show y'all the picture. There are pictures that appear to depict April Margera selling what appear to be some skateboard shoes, audios, I think is what it was. Thank you very much, Amber, for gifting the memberships. Y'all click that little gift box button and you may get one of the gift memberships. It also appears that those pictures have been sort of substantiated. I mean, Bam confirmed that those were his shoes and he did, sign them and stuff. And we know for a fact that during the winter time of 2021, Bam was in at least one legal arrangement known as a guardianship in Arizona. And also, perhaps some of those permissions had been sort of grandfathered in into the state of Florida, into other states as well. We don't really know about that. So the fact is that there are photographs that appear to be April Margera selling Bam shoes. Bam has confirmed, verified that that's what it appears like to him as well. And we know Bam was being held against his will. Now, because Bam said it, the final sort of variable here, the final sort of nail in the coffin type situation here is whenever Steve-O and Brandon Novak were talking about this, their words, not mine, conservatorship, and then quickly, it's not a conservatorship, whatever he said. When they were talking about it, December 2021, when all this stuff, this timeline was kind of exploding, what we're talking about right now, these two clowns, Steve-O and Brandon Novak, were kind of celebrating the fact that Bam did not have access to his phone. They were celebrating the fact that he was completely isolated and that he could not make telephone calls. Maybe there were some approved ones or whatever. I mean, it's been like more than a year since I watched that podcast. This is from memory, but they definitely were talking about the fact that Bam did not have his phone. And they were kind of like, oh, yeah, that's good because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing or whatever. So it's not even like, maybe Bam was somehow from his phone orchestrating sales of items for his own for his own self, for his own benefit. I'm just going to say it appears to be a little suspicious. And in and of itself, I don't guess it's particularly like, newsworthy. It is newsworthy in my opinion. But I probably wouldn't choose to really talk about it if it weren't also for the other fact that happens in tangent with all of this, that Jess will go on Twitter and he'll tweet stuff that's just false. It's just not true. And I've seen him do it before about me. I also strongly believe that at least 2 or 3 of these other accounts that are always tweeting with Jess are also him. I have no way to prove that. It's just my speculation. I'm a conspiracy theorist. What do I know? But that is my strong suspicion. So Jess will get on Twitter and he'll be talking about stuff that like didn't even happen as if it happened. And in my opinion, that type of thing is defamatory. And he doesn't only do it about me. He does about all kinds of people. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of low down on the list. But in my discussions with Danny and which is Bam's fiance, and Bam a little bit, but mostly I've been talking to Danny. We kind of figured out that there's one of these like sort of like discrepancies out in the public. Now, again, I wasn't there with them, but I have no reason to believe that Danny would be lying to me. So I'm going to tell you what she told me, but just so we're abundantly clear, I wasn't there. I do not know from firsthand. There were some tweets that went out recently from Jess's account that said like basically implied that Danny had called up April and yelled at her or something. And Danny assures me that that is not true, that she has not called April Margera for anything. And certainly they haven't been in any fights. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. I thought I would use that as just another example of I mean, just being completely unhinged on Twitter. And the man makes all kind of allegations about things and people and stuff, and it's just like, "Sir, um, something might be wrong with you." What else did he say recently? Oh, okay, so apparently, Jess Margera's wife left him for, probably because she just had enough. I mean, that's probably what it is. I've heard some rumors and things from people claiming to be close to the family and stuff like that, and out of abundance of caution, until I have a little bit more proof or a little bit more firsthand knowledge, I'm not gonna say it, but I've heard some theories and things about why it is the wife left. Again, it could just be rumors, that's why I'm not gonna be talking about him here. I haven't based any of my opinions on him or anything like that. But from Jess's own Twitter account, he said that, paraphrasing here, his wife basically left him because she joined a yoga cult, is what he called it, and it's one of his favorite words. It's one of his favorite sorta, like, pretend dog whistle insults, is to say that somebody's in a cult or they're leading a cult or cult, and I can understand why he would wanna use that type of terminology because it's something that's kinda reacti like a reactive word. It's got a lotta, mm, meaning, sort of emotion and stuff has been sorta packed onto that word in our society. And so he claimed that this wife, she got into a yoga cult and that's the reason why she left him. But he doesn't leave it at that. No, 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 no. No, of course not. He has to like insult her on the way out, right? So he has to say something like, she went crazy, right? Because anybody who is in their right mind would never leave such a shining example of divine masculine as, Jess Margera. Nobody in their right mind would leave him, right? They would have to be crazy to do so. That's what the logic underlying his, theory, which I completely disagree with. I mean, I think if anything, probably the woman started breathing enough oxygen to, make her brain cells tell her that something's wrong with this man and this chaos and turmoil that you've been living in, you don't have to live like that. And especially you don't have to have your baby child in that. I wasn't there, I don't know. What Jess said was she joined a cult, a yoga cult, and it was like the Kundalini yoga and left him because of that, because she lost her mind or something or whatever. And so then Jess started saying that I was probably in the Kundalini yoga cult. And then him and some pretend anonymous Twitter account were going back and forth, like literally like creating fantasies, just creating up fantasies about how I was probably in the Kundalini yoga cult because it would make sense because I have confidence and I don't know, I don't let people's opinion about me really affect me. I mean, let the record reflect. I've never in my life one time even attempted to do a Kundalini yoga. Okay, so I'm sorry to disappoint anybody who wanted me to be in the Kundalini yoga cult that I don't even know if it exists. I'm not in it. I never even tried to do it. I did go to a Wim Hof retreat. It was life-changing. I would definitely do that one. Again, if I had to go back in time and decide to do it again. Like, do I wanna do it again? Like me another time? No. No. It was really difficult. I'll make a video one day about that whole thing, but, yeah, no, I mean, we did some stuff that people would probably consider to be, crazy or whatever, like, I jumped off of a 25 or so foot tall cliff into a frozen waterfall, and it was really scary. I mean, it definitely wasn't something that I was excited about doing. I waited till I was the last one in line and all, but, no, not in the Kundalini yoga cult, sorry. Anyway, so that's really all I had to say about that whole situation. Let me see if I can find those pictures just so I can put a little bit of um a bookend on this. Oh, I guess I can just pull up the actual thumbnail. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay. Okay, hold on. Sorry. I'm just trying to like pull it up where it's not like all my other like camera roll in it. All right. Alright. This is so DIY, I must say. Okay. Excuse me, sorry. So, this is the thumbnail I made for today, and these are just, like, the 2 pictures here, and as you can see here, this appears to be a disheveled room. The man, I'm assuming this is, like, the customer. I really don't know whose hand this is, but it seems to be the person who's taking this picture, right? So, they're holding the pair of shoes in the box. Here's, I think that's April, and then here that was, allegedly from 2021. And then here you have somebody, I don't know if that's the same person. I don't know if that's the same person, who, what, but here's Bam, he's looking at the picture, he's looking at the box, he's looking at the shoe, and so, I mean, these are the pictures. Um, yeah, so that's that. Alright, what else? What else is going on? So, did y'all hear about Aaron Carter's sister? This family, I mean, and I'm trying to be sensitive, I'm really not trying to be funny. It's not funny and it's not a laughing matter. But it's like, is it a curse? Like, what's really going on here? I'm gonna look up like an article and just read it with y'all, like along with y'all, kind of react. I kind of a little bit know what's going on, but I have not taken a really deep dive into the Carter family. I did recently do a video for BJ Investigates. It's a really good one if y'all haven't seen it. I did link the BJ Investigates channel in the description box, but I recently did a video about the Backstreet Boys. And in so doing, I finally dipped my toe a little bit into the whole Nick Carter, Aaron Carter, all that, story, saga, whatever the case may be. And in my research for that, I came across 2 separate instances where the mom, what's her name? Jane Carter, the Aaron and Nick Carter's mom, had actually been arrested. Now, innocent till proven guilty. I don't know how the court dates ended up going for her, anything like that. It was like I wasn't actually even looking for that information. It just came up. So when I was looking, I kept that stored in my memory banks. And then, of course, I did know that Aaron Carter himself had um, passed last year. And again, I did not do a lot of research into it because I know it's going to be one of those things where once I start looking into it, it's going to be like a 4 to 7 day long ordeal where I'm not even going to be able to come up for air. I'm just going to have to be, I mean, I'll show y'all some I'll show y'all some of my, like, diagrams and stuff later, but I can't just kinda, like, skim on stuff like this. So, I have kind of, like, a feeling about this Aaron Carter story that I feel like once I get into it and I start making, like, FOIA requests and things like that, I'm gonna find stuff, I'm going to see things. One thing I did find about Aaron Carter, and if y'all were on my recent lives, you, might have seen this. Yeah, I hope not. Um Oh, I did not know this, Nicole. Yeah, she's been arrested, but she was not arrested for this. She's been arrested for other things, just like throughout time. And one of them was some type of domestic incident against Aaron's father slash, Jane's husband or ex-husband. I really don't know. So I knew Aaron had passed away, of course, last year. I did know that he had gone on both Steve-O's podcast and Adam 22, and I believe Adam 22, aka Grand Mason, aka Adam 16. I believe that was the last public appearance that Aaron ever did make. I really don't know. Again, I haven't like actually researched this. This is just stuff I'm picked up from random, cursory surface level stuff. I also knew Aaron had another sibling who had passed away before him about 10 years before he did. So one of the siblings had already passed when she was like 25 years old. I think her name was Leslie. Then Aaron passed away. Well, then the dad passed away. And I think around 2016 to 2018, like 2017, something like that. Then after that, Aaron passed away, but it was not before Aaron had a chance to make all kinds of alarming, unsettling, egregious allegations against Nick, his own brother. Now, Aaron did also appear on a documentary and an interview. It was called The Boy Band Con. Another one I watched a few times, and especially in the research for the Backstreet Boys video I did. Well, Aaron, like, kind of, like, strongly supported and, I don't know, like, took up for Lou Pearlman, the guy who is apparently, friends with Epstein and, like, abusing the boy bands and stuff. He started the Backstreet Boys, he started NSYNC, he started O-Town, LFO, um, some other things he was on, Making the Band, whatever. So, Aaron Carter was one of his strongest defenders in this documentary, which I always found interesting. I don't really know what to make of it, but it is always good to put, both sides and both different type of opinions in documentaries so that the public and the people can make their mind up. So, I mean, that's fine, whatever. And then we just found out, I think, maybe like definitely within the last week, another one of these Carter children has passed. So, I'm going to look up article, not any one in particular. I just wanna kinda read a few of them and see if we can piece anything together, a little live investigation type of moment, type of situation. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go Aaron Carter sister passed away. Where's this from? Okay, so we do have a super chat. Thank you very much. You'll clap when I'm gone for the super chat. In the comments says, I wonder if she started selling things because of the guardianship, because she couldn't go to him directly for money as he didn't have power of attorney over his belongings slash assets. Well, maybe. I mean, I really don't know. I wasn't there. But what I can say is that Phil Margera has always enjoyed power of attorney over Bam's assets. And I have no reason to believe that Phil Margera has ever done anything wrong in that position. All I know is it's public knowledge and it's public record that Phil was already acting as Bam's power of attorney at the time that the conservatorship had started. So, or the guardianship, whatever you want to call it. So, I don't know. This could be, but it could not be, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. What else? Yeah, I know. Okay, so let me look up this Bobby Carter. Well, there's a headline I'm looking from 2 hours ago, and it says, "Aaron Carter's team speaks out after death of his sister." So I guess let's just start there because that's more recent. Okay. So this is from E! News, which ugh, go away. Take that, with for what it's worth, with a grain of salt, I guess. It's a tabloid. Aaron Carter's team speaks out after death of his sister, Bobby Jean Carter. Just over a year after Aaron Carter died, his older sister, Bobby Jean, passed away. Quote, "We know Aaron is in heaven with his sisters," his team shared in a statement. Quote, "May they rest in peace." Okay, so this was says. Following her death at age 41, the late singer's team shared a message to his family, including Aaron's mom, Jane Carter, his brother Nick Carter, and okay, this is a typo. Aaron is with his sister. It says following her death, the late singer's team shared a message to his family, not from his family. Shared a message to his family, including Aaron's mom, his brother, and his twin sister. Wow. Okay. This is what it says, quote, "This year has definitely been one with such loss and tragedy." His team wrote in a statement to E! News. May you be filled with love and comfort from supporting fans and friends through this tough time. You're not alone. We know Aaron is in heaven with his sisters and reunited. May they rest in peace. The heartbreaking news comes just over a year after Aaron passed from an accidental drowning after taking some substances and other things. Okay, and it was 11 years after his. So both were substance related, both deaths. There's a quote. I am in shock from oh, this is from the mom. "I am in shock from learning of the sudden death of my daughter," she told TMZ December 23rd. And apparently she left behind an 8-year-old child. "I will need time to process the terrible reality of it happening a third time." And listen, I don't know, maybe there's a way to get such bad karma and be such bad of a person that, y- nobody feels bad for you, but like, ew. It's hard and difficult to imagine having 5 children and being a mother of them and losing 3. I mean, oh my god, like, in this way, I do kinda feel for the lady for losing her children, but I don't really know her full story and stuff, but just you know, off the bat, I do feel bad for that. It's like something I can't even probably fathom, to be honest. Okay. So here's another quote. "However deeply a parent feels the loss of a child, the suffering of a young child at the loss of a parent must be much greater." Okay, so she's saying, as sad as I am and stuff and all that, and it is sad, I feel more bad and sad for my grandchild who's now lost 2 parents. And I also feel bad for that child who likely did absolutely nothing to deserve this. Her quote goes on, "So I would ask the sympathetic to say a prayer for my precious 8-year-old granddaughter Bella, who previously lost her father and is now also left without a mother." And that is just devastating. Though Bobby Jean has remained out of the spotlight since the family's reality show House of Carters ended in 2006, she made headlines earlier this year. Oh, why? Because she was arrested in Florida for shoplifting and allegedly carrying a substance around. Okay, so she was allegedly shoplifting and carrying around a substance, and she was arrested earlier this year, according to this article. Following her older sister's passing, Angel looked back on the highs and lows of that Bobby Jean experience. Is it Bobby Jean or Jane? Did they say Bobby Jean? I think they said Jane earlier. Look, Bobby Jane. They said Bobby Jane here. "I'm in shock from learning the sudden death of my daughter," she said of Bobby Jane. But then down here, they're saying Bobby Jean. Is it the same person? Is it a typo? What is this? Oh man, and it's so close to Christmas. I'm sorry. I cannot help it. I just feel bad for people. I do. It makes me feel so sad. Like like I'm the one that lost the loved one or something. I mean, I did lose, my father in 2017 in November, so it is kind of a tough time, but I don't know. I just feel bad for the people. Following her older sister's passing, Angel looked back on the highs and lows of Bobby Jean's experiences or whatever. And then here's a quote: "Life wasn't fair to you." So this is the younger sister, Angel. This is Aaron Carter's twin sister, Angel. And she's talking about this now deceased Bobby Jean. "Life wasn't fair to you. Sometimes it feels like you didn't have a shot no matter what. Experiencing innocence instead of being burdened by trauma, pain, and suffering is incredibly important for children, particularly at such a young age," she continued. Okay, so I mean, it almost to me a little bit feels like this quote right here is kind of implying that they have a lot of these problems because of being exposed to trauma at a young age. Now, I don't know if that means from Hollywood or just, their parents or maybe the little girl she's talking about, the little girl, the 8-year-old little girl who she's exposed. I don't really know what she's talking about, but it kind of feels like this being burdened by trauma, pain, and suffering as children is something that could have maybe contributed or related to this death in a way. Experiencing innocence instead of being burdened by trauma, pain, and suffering is incredibly important for children, particularly at such a young age. I know why Leslie, Aaron, and now you. This is so sad, y'all. It is. And again, I don't really know much about this family, so I don't have like a huge bias. I do know that Nick Carter has been accused of some egregious things, not only by his brother and maybe his sister, but also, other people are coming forward. There's lawsuits and things. But I believe in innocent till proven guilty. I believe he could have done it. I didn't look that deeply into it. And I encourage y'all to do your own research if that's something you're interested in. But getting in the time machine and going back in time, before Nick maybe did all that stuff, when he was just a kid, I kind of said a similar thing about him. It's like the innocence of just being a bewildered little kid. He didn't have that kind of like luxury because he was 13 years old and a very small 13-year-old with grown-ups on the road trying to get his music career off the ground and stuff, and he had to act a lot older than he was, I'm sure at a lot of different points in time. I found videos of him drinking at 13 or 14 years old around adults who presumably provided him with the alcohol, and so it's like, yeah, I mean, what if the Carter children just on the whole had the opportunity to have a little bit of innocence preserved here? It's almost like they didn't have that option. The sister said, I know why my 3 siblings ended up in the position or circumstances that they did, which they are dead, y'all. I share that pain that we experienced during our childhood. And I am sorry you didn't have an opportunity for a better life. Ugh. I know why they ended up in the circumstances they did, and I share that pain that they experienced. So now, I mean, that kind of answers my first question. What is she talking about? Is she talking about their lives? They're talking about, one of their life. No, she's saying, I share the pain. I know what we went through in our childhood, and I'm sorry you didn't have the opportunity for a better life. She then called for change rather than judgment. So, what did she say here? We all need to break down barriers, reduce stigmas, and cultivate a society where seeking mental health support is met with understanding and encouragement. This starts with our children and creating healthy conversations within the home. And I think it also starts with not making people so afraid of the literal consequences of talking about their mental health. I mean, it's like, reduce the stigma, reduce the stigma. I'm not, y'all know who I'm making fun of, and it ain't these Carters. I can't disagree with, generally what this lady is saying right here, but I have talked to so many people this year and the year before, and the last 3 years really, who, when they try to get help for a mental health concern or a substance related, specifically a substance related concern, a concern where they're having, SUI thoughts and ideas and things like that. I have talked to so many people who have said, either I sought help and I ended up getting dragged off against my will by the police with bulletproof vests, or I didn't seek help because I see what happens to people who do. We cannot treat mental health uh, diagnoses or attempts to get the diagnoses as a reason to put somebody in an incarcerated state, drugged against their will and stuff. Lately, I've been watching and keeping up with a football player by the name of Chandler Jones. I've been watching his Instagram and comment in the comments or, in the sorry, I'm reading y'all's things. Yeah, they kidnapped. They were brutally abused, Shell said from her understanding. I mean, I'm not saying this is what they're saying, but this is one interpretation here. Decades, saw help in the UK. It caused more trauma than I arrived with, and that's another issue. And, just to be clear, Carrie says Chandler Jones is sketchy. He might be. He might be. And this is kind of one of the things that I confront whenever I'm deciding what to make videos about and stuff is like Nick Carter. It could be argued that he's sketchy. So does that mean I don't tell, what I have found on the Nick Carter story? Does that mean, I don't know. And I think these are rhetorical questions because there's not really a right answer. And this is it, Tanya. Having mental health issues isn't a crime, but they treat it like one. So I was going to make a video about this Chandler Jones situation. And I stopped following the story for like literally 2 days. And so much stuff happened. The man was arrested or something violated or restrained. I don't know. Something happened. And it's like, oh my God, it's taken so much for me to just catch up. And on these sort of like actively going on stories, it's can happen like that sometimes. But I'll give y'all the TLDR from my memory. So now we're, good into football season or whatever. But a few months ago, before football season, professional like NFL American football season had started, it was kind of like, well, first of all, first thing, what team did he play for? The Las Vegas Raiders, I think, is who he's playing for. And the Raiders, each year, if y'all don't know about football, maybe you do. Each year there's this thing called the draft where the really good players are all up kind of like a lottery for the pickings or whatever. And the football teams get to pick, what new players they want to be on their team. Well, the team that this guy Chandler Jones was on, they had just recruited a very spectacular rising shining star from college into he was getting out of college, he was getting finished with his college stuff, into the same position of football player that Chandler Jones plays. Now Chandler Jones is still young for almost anyone's definition except professional athlete. He's getting up there in years for professional athletes, I guess, from what I'm reading. So Chandler Jones already, was a little bit locked into a contract from what I understand. And he was still a very good football player, but there was this brand new kind of young, strapping lad who is going to be, easing in on Chandler's turf. Well, right around that same time that they started, or not started, but right around the time whenever football season was right about to start, the new season back in like September or whatever, there was some headlines and things coming out in the sports world about Chandler Jones maybe isn't going to be playing. I don't know. I don't exactly remember. There was some reason he might not be playing or something. And in the first game. So even at the press conference, that the coach did and stuff with it, he was asked about Chandler Jones and all this, and nothing really ended up happening. Um, well, the first game rolls around, Chandler ain't playing. Second game rolls around, he ain't playing. I don't remember exactly the timeline of events, but at some point before the season started, Chandler Jones made a very serious allegation about the owner of this football team. And the allegation, y'all can look it up, it's all public, was that the owner of the team, which is different than the coach, right? There's a coach, there's an owner, there's a manager, there's all different stuff, right? But the owner, the allegations this football player made was the owner of the team was doing some type of behaviors, abusive ones against little girls. And Chandler was naming names. Okay. Now, as soon as Chandler Jones, this is from my memory, y'all fact check me. As soon as Chandler Jones started to say these type of allegations, it was, "He's crazy. He got CTE. He got brain damage from concussions from getting too many concussions and all this stuff. He's crazy." Now, one reason people were saying that that we shouldn't believe Chandler Jones at the time is because it kinda looked like it was only coming out because it was in his own best interest, like blackmail, some people said. Well, you knew all this and you didn't say nothing whenever you were making this money. When you were riding high on success, you didn't say anything. But now that you might not get to play and you're, at jeopardy or whatever, now you wanna say something. Well, that made it seem to some people like he wasn't particularly credible. Some people believe him and think it's all a big setup. I don't really know. I still, like I said, have to finish doing my research on it, but I started following him on what's it called? Instagram. And in the months since all that has happened, I mean, it's been a fiasco. They I think it was in Vegas. The police showed up, took him against his will to a mental hospital. This is before the season started. They, according to Chandler, injected him with substances not of his choosing, right, against his will by force of the state. He couldn't leave. He was trying to reach out to his coach. He was trying to reach out to his like trainer. He was reaching out to his brother, who happens to be like a famous was he like an MMA fighter, UFC fighter or something? His brother came and was bringing him food. They wouldn't feed Chandler. Like he's a professional athlete. The man's huge. I mean, you have to be enormous to be a professional, football player or whatever. So they weren't, claims they weren't feeding him. He couldn't leave. And it was all making him not be able to make it to practice. Well, he was reaching out to his coaches and all this stuff. Come to find out, nobody came to get him, all this stuff. So then that's when he's making these allegations. He wrote letters. He wrote letters from in there. Um, And so many people, it's very similar to what I experienced when I first started covering BAM. So many people are kind of discounting what Chandler Jones has to say by calling him crazy. They're saying, well, he's had all these concussions, so he doesn't know what he's talking about or whatever. And it's like, okay. But he's posting and he goes live all the time. People, cops showing up, social worker type people trying to Zoom call him, cops lurking and creeping around the side of his house. He's got, cameras set up. Let's say let's say somebody like that does want to seek actual help voluntarily. Why would any person trust the system that's been like abusing them like this for months? It's like legitimately gang stalking. It is. I'm just so sorry it is at our taxpayer funding, dollar expense. I know. There's just too much to cover. So, when you look at these kinda like media depicts them as problem children, like the Aaron Carters, the Bam Margeras, the Chandler Joneses. I covered another football player. This is not as contemporary, but back in like 2012, Janoris Jenkins. So, what are those people really supposed to do? Who are they supposed to go and ask for help from? Because even when they don't want help, this abuse is being, like, shoved down their throats into their literal bloodstreams, against their will or whatever. And when the person is abused in these systems and they speak out about it publicly, everyone's like, "Stop complaining. You're lying. You're crazy." So, y'all are the ones that are perpetuating the mental health stigma when you do that. And it's the same people that are like, "We need to get rid of the stigma." You're saying that someone's mental health should be the reason they lose their freedoms. So you're doing the stigma, dumbass. All that to say, I see why people don't seek help because it's just clearly a lot of the times it's not helpful at all. And it's just a system of abuse and trafficking, in my opinion. Now, has it helped people in the past? Sure, maybe. I guess, maybe. I don't know. Probably. But This is pretty troubling. What else? She ended her note with "You're free now." Cute. Okay. Oh man. Let's see if we can find another article of some sort. Let's see. Aaron Carter sister. Entertainment Weekly. NBC News. Let's go People. A lot of times they'll have exclusives and stuff. All right. Bobby Jean Carter, sister to Aaron and Nick. Okay, I am in shock. All right. The day before Christmas Eve, too. That is just so sad. She died in Florida. Uh, I don't want to like reread the same stuff we already read, so I'm just kind of skimming. Bobby Jean, we will need time. Okay. We need time to process. Aaron died at the age of 34. Leslie died at the age of 25 in 2012. So they all, God, this is so horrible. It's all right in the same season too, right? Leslie died January 2012. Um, Aaron died November, and now this is December. It's just, God, they can't catch a break. This is so, 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 so heartbreaking. It really is. Again, I don't know really anything about this family, like details, but it doesn't matter if I know anything about him. Like that's your heart has to go out to him. I don't know, maybe not. Mine does. When I'm able to think clearly, I'll release a fuller statement. The mom added, okay, the same. Okay, same. It's the same thing. Oh my God. All right. So sources close to the Carters tell people the family believes Bobby Jean died after going into cardiac arrest, though further details of what led up to her death remain unclear. Before her death, she led a mostly private life, uh, wardrobe stylist for Aaron's tours in the 2000s. She According to TMZ, she had dealt with addiction and substance abuse issues, and that was a topic that was documented on TV. Her death comes after she was arrested in Florida after stealing stickers and markers from a Hobby Lobby. Later allegedly found to have drugs, her death marks the latest tragedy for the Carter family, who have faced financial woes, divorce, and addiction issues over the years. Okay, so let me see if I can find the police report of this incident. Um, I'm just looking for an article that maybe has more info. Okay. So, okay. This is one thing I want to be very careful about because a lot of times, whenever somebody has publicly experienced substance use, abuse, issues, etc., and they pass away suddenly, it'll be reported that they overdosed. But then later, they'll actually run an actual toxicology screening, and you'll find out something like, for example, they actually didn't overdose. They uh, drowned in their bathtub and they had drugs in their system. Or they, maybe used a Second Amendment projectile, etc., or something. And, that caused it. Or something else caused it. But because there was some type of evidence of substances around, etc., and because the person had a history of it, it's like, oh, it was overdose. And then nobody really bothers to go and like correct the record later on. So anytime somebody is pronounced as having had a O/D death and it's only a few days after they died, I always am suspicious of that because in order to determine that, you really need, like, definitively, you need a toxicology report because, like I said, for example, Aaron Carter, when he passed away, people were saying he O/D on drugs, but actually he drowned, you know? So it's like, I don't know. Take what we're about to read here with a grain of salt, knowing, what I just told you. Maybe they did do a speedy, fastest toxicology report in history or something. I really don't know. But when I see a headline about a D, it's very difficult for me to really take it very seriously if it's only a few days have gone by since it's so true. And yeah, the record rarely is corrected. Yeah, she had drowned, or, like, they have a heart attack because they got too hot in a jacuzzi or whatever, and it's like, yeah, they were doing substances, and maybe the substances did in some way contribute to the death and whatever, but it wasn't like O/D, it was like a secondary thing or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just I just wanna be careful about that. Okay. Okay. Bobby Jean Carter dies at 41, sister okay. Wait, there was something. Hold on. I saw in the crawler that there was something about how she died, so let me just find that part. Um, I guess this was her, like, one of her photos. Hernando. Is that in Florida? Um, see, look, Aaron Carter accidentally drowned in his bathtub because he had participated in some sedatives and other things. Okay. The report referred to Carter as a celebrity with a known history of substance abuse who had multiple interactions with local police relating to the substance abuse. Okay. Um, oh, here's the post from Angel. So this is the actual, I guess they called her. Oh, sorry, one second. I guess they called her BJ. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. Authorities said she had suffered an over. Okay, this is interesting. Look at this. Authorities said she had suffered an overdose from prescription medication. Carter once said he felt his family partly blamed him for her death. Y'all see that in the crawler? Let me click on it. Oh, it is here. Okay. All right. All right. Let me get out my conspiracy theory then. All right. In 2012, Leslie suffered a O/D from her prescription medication. So, how did the Bobby Jean sister die? Let me see. How did Bobby? It just says they believe that she died after going into cardiac arrest. So, I mean, I guess what we do know. Okay. I guess what we do know is Aaron and Leslie both passed from substance related reasons, right? It doesn't appear that that's been reported that this was a substance related reason here. What it seems like, they're saying is that she maybe went into cardiac arrest. Now, I know from, personal life experience from not myself, but reading autopsy results of other folks that sometimes the drug related, issue causes your heart to go into cardiac arrhythmia. Maybe the family is assuming that's what happened. I do not know. I will keep an eye out for any potential leads and any updates and things like that on the cause of death of this sister. But I do regardless of anything at all, I cannot help it. My heart does go out to this family, in particular the kids. I don't know, maybe the mom's a POS or whatever, but part of me just still feels bad for her even too. Let me get my water. Hold on. Okay. So now we're gonna move to talking about hold on, I'm reading something. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about Mark Laita and some updates with that whole fiasco. So let me just get my water here. Okay. So a few days ago, when was it? 2 days ago. I was on YouTube, minding my own business. And I saw this video. Down the Rabbit Hole News. I always talk about this channel. It's a very good channel. Y'all should follow. And Rabbit. And she posted this video right here. See the thumbnail where it's like cynical, soft line underbelly cynical about feedback. I thought we could just watch a little bit of that video together. It's only 8 minutes, 37 seconds long. I do recommend y'all go and follow that channel. Like I said. Okay. So let me turn the volume on. And then the captions. Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I am sick. I should probably be in bed right now. But I'm gonna do a little reaction to Mark Lita's new upload. Um, he made some comments about Nova on the recent upload to the Rebecca video. And for those that don't know who Nova is and that are just late to some of this commentary, I'm gonna link all the videos in the description box. Nova is the 13-year-old, then 13-year-old.
So Rabbit goes ahead and she describes, what's going on. We kind of all know this. I've made a couple this part, right? I made a couple videos about this, live streams and stuff like that, where Mark Laita did interview a child, legally a minor, 13-year-old little girl. And in that video, she's wearing almost nothing. And she's talking about being a you-know-what worker. And we got into all the different nuance about that. We talked about how you really can't be a consensual you-know-what worker at 13 years old because you cannot consent to you-know-what, which is, part of the work. We talked about how, maybe the mom herself didn't even actually have legal custody of this child and all that. But in the video, the original video that was posted, which has been either deleted by Mark Laita or deleted by YouTube, somebody somehow got deleted. In the original upload of the video, Mark Laita posted it uncensored. Now, in the description box of that video, Mark Laita did say that he had left out some of the more salacious aspects of the interview, which I looked up the definition of that. It means like sexual, like gratuitously sexual. So he kind of, I guess, called himself censoring it a little bit because he didn't include the most salacious parts of it, according to him. But the little girl's chest was literally completely exposed. And she was wearing a bikini top that was see-through. okay? I highly discourage anyone from trying to find that original video because it's depraved and it's a little child who couldn't meaningfully legally consent to that. On top of the fact, you should probably not be looking at it. You know what I mean? On top of the fact, it's not like for scientific purposes like the National Geographic or something. No. It's a little girl talking about being a you know what worker with no clothes on. Now, you're just going to have to take my word for it. And this is just my opinion, but it was clear as day that the shirt, the bikini top was completely see-through. Now, the little girl's mother has come out and alleged that Mark Laita actually encouraged this little girl to wear a see-through top. The mother of this child has come out publicly and stated Mark Laita actually paid this little girl money, more money, extra money to wear more revealing clothing. Is that a true thing that really happened? Y'all, I don't know. I was not there. I'm telling you what the mother of the little girl alleged, that Mark had encouraged the little girl to wear more revealing clothing and had indeed actually paid her more money in order to wear. Sorry, reading a comment. Yes, I have heard from this channel, and I do really appreciate the premise of that channel. And it was actually some of the videos from that channel, The Great Plague, which were predating my coverage of the Amanda Rabb story. The Great Plague channel, I think, made 2 or 3 videos about the Amanda Rabb scenario specifically. Maybe even before I ever made my first one. So yes, he was definitely, I'm sorry, his name escapes me right now. But yes, I did see those concerns. So you're gonna have to take my word for it unless you want to try and seek this content out, which I don't necessarily recommend you do. But it was very clear to me that you could see the whole bare chest of this child while she was talking about these extremely adult themes. It didn't seem to have very much of a scientific purpose. I mean, she was describing exactly how you could find her, different social medias, like wanting more quote customers. It's like it was sick. It was sick. I've made a lot of videos about it, and so has Rabbit, this channel down the rabbit hole news. Oh, well, the video gets deleted. The original uncensored one gets deleted, and Mark re-uploads the video. He re-uploads it with a blurry, sensor right over the chest. And for the most part, there is a still shot photo that Mark pans down. You know how he does those black and white photos? That one still was uncensored, last I was informed, and I haven't gone back to check to see if it's still uncensored or not. But for some reason, Mark did censor the chest of the child eventually after it had gotten, 100,000 or whatever views or whatever. And I lost my train of thought because he's so gross. He did censor it eventually. He re-uploaded it, a brand new video. And like I said, then the child's mother came out. She's complaining about it and saying, they were tricked essentially, and Mark paid money for it and he knew exactly what he was doing and, stuff like that. Oh, Ricada Law talked about this too? I did not know that. Yeah, I mean, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess he kinda got caught, but, like, at the same time, he did it all publicly. It wasn't like he, like, was trying to do it as a secret. I think the backlash maybe was just a little bit more than he predicted? Yeah, I mean, who knows? So that all happened. All that what I just told y'all was all stuff we already talked about in my last live streams on this. So the other day, I'm, on YouTube and I see Rabbit had made that video that we just started watching together. And basically, I'm not burying the lead here. I'm just tell y'all up front. Mark, in my opinion, is gaslighting. He's, in my opinion, lying. And you'll see why I'm saying that in just a few seconds. And it's just my opinion. Innocent till proven guilty.
And self, other creators, Queen Bee. It was a weird video that she did. So I thought this was interesting. Mark decides to do an interview with Rebecca, who has been a subject of various videos on Soft White Underbelly.
Okay. So we have also talked about a subject from Soft White Underbelly named Rebecca on this channel. And there's a few reasons why I haven't been able to get into the whole Rebecca saga as much as I've wanted to, but it's still on the agenda. Rebecca is one of the fan favorites of Soft White Underbelly. And I gotta be honest, the character of Rebecca is a little confusing to me personally, because at first Rebecca was introduced to the audience as a transgender woman who, was essentially like assigned male at birth and then, felt like a woman or whatever. But now it's like a very confusing narrative. I really, and I'm only saying this because I don't want people to think I'm being like, I don't like messed up on purpose. I'm not trying to be, but it's very confusing to me because in this video that we're talking about right here, that Rabbit is about to talk about, Rebecca calls Rebecca self a man. Sometimes it's he, sometimes it's she. I don't know. Some of y'all tried to get on to me about saying the wrong she or he or whatever, and it's like I hear you, and I do understand where you're coming from and all that. But in the Rebecca situation in particular, it's very confusing because it's like they can't even stick with, and by they I mean Mark too. It's like I don't really know what's going on with this. But Rebecca, and I don't know what Rebecca's, other names are and stuff, but I'm just gonna go around Rebecca because that's what we know her as in the whole YouTube universe, Soft White Underbelly universe, whatever. So Rebecca's kind of like a fan favorite. People love Rebecca. And Rebecca is very like educated and kind of like the traditional education, like fine art type of way. And Rebecca knows a lot about art and artists and stuff. And I think that may be one of the reasons why people are such big fans and stuff. Because I don't know. It's just like a interesting juxtaposition, something unexpected, whatever. Okay, let's see. Mark is allowed. What's the reason? I don't know what y'all talking about. Let's see. Yeah, I mean that's one option. I don't know how I'm gonna exactly handle it. I need to actually, what I really need to do is watch more of the videos, and I've watched quite a few, but there are a lot of Rebecca videos, and I need to watch them all in order and stuff, and I'll get a better sense, I think, of what is the right thing to do or whatever. I've seen this before. I've seen other people say this, that it's just like a big op. Hello, Erica. Mark tells Rebecca he doesn't believe Rebecca's a woman and doesn't understand the idea of transgender. Oh, is that what's going on? Again, I'm not as I'm not as fully up to speed on it. That's why I need to just kind of inform myself a little better, but just letting y'all know, I ain't trying to like be obtuse about people's, identities and things. It's just, it is in this particular case a little confusing. Okay. So Rebecca recently has come onto Soft White Underbelly channel yet again, and Rabbit's talking about it.
And we're gonna watch it in real time. I'm not gonna edit this at all. I'm sick. I don't even feel like doing anything. I feel like going to bed.
I feel this.
But I thought it would be appropriate since some of you guys had emailed me this link. So let's go ahead. It's another point. Your nipples.
Oh, I realize it looks like I'm not subscribed to Rabbit's channel, but that's because I'm not signed in. So make sure y'all subscribe. Oh, okay, wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Yeah, okay. So here's Rebecca.
Your nipples are showing. You're getting in trouble. I'm in trouble. Like I got in trouble. I don't have text. Dude, I'm a man. I have to fuck. I have to eat. Isn't that weird? That I did a video of a 13-year-old prostitute.
Okay, guilty conscience. Explain yourself. This is Mark's explaining himself, in my opinion. Thank you, Riley. Yeah, I mean, seriously. Seriously. Yeah, no, it's so ridiculous. Okay. So, first of all, again, I'm using this person's words to describe their own self. Just now literally said, I'm a dude, I'm a man. Okay. So, for the purposes of this one video right now, it's a man. They are a man. This is a man we're looking at because that's literally just one more time, because I don't feel like getting accused of something I didn't say.
Dude, I'm a man. I have to fuck. I have to eat. Isn't that weird? I did a video of a 13-year-old prostitute, and she.
Isn't that weird that I did a video of a 13-year-old bleep, bleep, bleep? Yes, it is weird. Yes, it is. What's your next question?
She had a bikini top, but I wasn't even aware that you could see through it. Oh, really?
The man is lying. In my opinion, I don't know. The only way I can know for 100% in this particular case, I guess, is if I was inside his head, because I don't know whether or not Mark could see the obvious. What I can say is if the man couldn't tell the bare chestedness of the situation in person with the little girl, I find it very difficult to believe he didn't see it in the editing process. And if he couldn't see it in either one of those situations, he might need a conservatorship or some eyeglasses because it's just so obvious. I mean, and again, we don't know. Thank you, Riley. And y'all listen, look, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I'm not an expert. And I'm really not interested in being the police, the decider over who is and isn't a whatever, whoever. I can tell you what I am and what I am not, and that's all, But I don't think Mark Laita's telling the full truth and nothing but the truth. It's just my opinion. What do I know though? What I can say is the comment section had no problem seeing the bare chestedness of it all. I mean, it's probably one of the reasons why he deleted the video, in my opinion, in the first place and re-uploaded it edited. This is kind of what, yeah, okay. You mean to tell me you're a commercial photographer? He said it before that the videos with the attractive, workers will get the most views. I just don't believe him. I don't believe him. I'm sorry, I don't. He's saying he didn't see the obvious. And it's like, well, if y'all want to live in a clown world run by clowns who lie to our faces, be my guest. That's fine. I don't want to, though. And so I just feel like the man's full of shit. I feel and believe, in my opinion, like he's lying because he knows he teetered too close to the edge. He flew too close to the sun. Posting a video of a topless, basically, bare chest. You could see the child's areolas, y'all. Let's see what else.
Not a breast fan, so I'm not really looking at her breast. But what do you like in a woman's body? The shape of her waist and.
Okay, telling on himself because, ugh. telling on himself. Oh my gosh, so disgusting. So disgusting. I had the occasion to play with a little baby yesterday, just like hold him and stuff. And it was just so cute. And you just realize looking into these little babies' faces that they're just so innocent. They don't know anything bad. It's just like what we're talking about with the Aaron Carter stuff. It's like, kids should be allowed to be innocent. And when I am talking to, or which I don't often talk to, but if I have the occasion to talk to a 13-year-old, even a 15-year-old, I'm like, this is a little kid. It's a kid. It's a child. Even if it's like a giant, one that's playing football or whatever. I'm like, that's a little kid. Because I remember what it feels like to be 13, 15, whatever. And it's like, I was a kid. So, and you'll notice in my coverage of this child and the whole Mark Laita saga of it all, I treat her as if she is a child. And there have been people in the comments who I have had to hide from the channel, had to banish from the Queen's Court, saying like, well, maybe most 13-year-olds are children, but this one, she knew what she was doing and look how she's dressing. And no, ma'am. No. Tell on yourself, you nasty. It's not like, oh, the 1-year-old infant child, that's getting abused is asking for it or has already been abused a lot of times. So we shouldn't treat him as a child. No. And that same logic applies to 13-year-olds, in my opinion. That's how I treat it. But when we did the coverage of this, whenever I did the last lives, I was talking about this and I was like, I wonder if Mark just he just doesn't see children as children. Like, it's such a foreign concept to me. Like, even a child that has been abused into acting way older than they actually are or whatever, like, it's the same thing with Nick Carter. Like, yeah, I can look at him now and say he shouldn't have done stuff he did as an adult and, all that. But, like, I see a video of him as a 13-year-old and I don't see him as the adult Nick Carter. I see him as a little kid. So Mark, in my opinion, right here is telling on himself. He's saying he's not a breast man. And so when he's eyeing up potential sexual mates, potential sexual matches, when he's eyeing them up like a predator eyeing up prey, in my opinion, in my artistic analogy, it's just art. Don't take it so seriously. He's telling y'all what he thinks about this 13-year-old child. That to him, he was looking at her like he would be looking at somebody that he wanted to, what. Why am I saying that in my opinion? Well, let's listen one more time what he's saying. One more time.
Prostitute. And she had a bikini top that I wasn't even aware that you could see through it. Oh, really? Like, I'm not a breast fan, so I'm not really looking at her breasts. But what do you like in a woman's body? The shape of her waist and hips and all that. Yeah.
I don't mean to be presumptuous, but Miss Rebecca, the self-proclaimed dude/man, seems to even be a little bit like perturbed. I don't know what Rebecca has seen. Again, I don't want to be presumptuous. I don't know what Rebecca has seen and has not seen in Rebecca's life, but I imagine that it probably takes a little bit more than average just to, disturb this person. And they're like, yeah. Like, that's my opinion. What do y'all think? You see what I mean here? Watch Rebecca's response here.
The shape of her waist and hips and all that. Yeah. Legs. So you like more like curved kind of.
Oh, he is so disgusting, in my opinion. He is so disgusting, in my opinion. Thank you, Riley. I'm just reading somebody else's comments. And again, don't go and send any hate. Please don't send any hate to anyone mentioned in this video. This is not the purpose of the video. The purpose of the video, for me to give y'all my opinion, my commentary. That's the only purpose. Okay. Spread awareness of something that I think. That's it. It seems like it. I mean, I really do not know. Yeah, yeah. And it makes me wonder, did Rebecca see this story already? Did already know this story and all? I have reason to believe that the story was spreading like wildfire around, the Skid Row area because the little girl's mom found out about it and, they're all making videos about it and stuff. So I don't know. But what I do know is Mark could have had any reason for not seeing that. Like, okay, for example, wouldn't this have been a little bit more appropriate? I honestly didn't see it because I was so uncomfortable looking in that direction of a little child that I just tried my very best not to look. Wouldn't that have been a little bit more ethical of a reason? I'm not saying it would have been the true reason. What I'm saying is he's telling on himself. He told y'all and Rebecca the reason he didn't notice the areolas showing through the clothing. If you even want to call it clothing, it was like a rhinestoned Swarovski bra that was see-through, like a triangle bra too. The reason he didn't notice is because he doesn't be looking at people's titties because he's not a titties man or whatever he said. He was instead looking, according to him, at this child's bare midriff and hip/thighs, whatever he just said. He didn't say, I didn't notice it because I don't look at little girls like that. And it was just like a little girl. I don't know. I didn't think about it. No. He's not a tits man. He's talking about 13-year-old. He's deleting comments, apparently. I haven't been looking. I don't know. Let's see what else.
So he just said he didn't even notice. I cannot with this guy.
On top of the fact, I also think that's a lie, in my opinion. But I don't know because I'm not in his mind. But I don't believe him. I don't believe that he didn't see it. And then I don't like his reasoning that he didn't see it either. He should have just said, yeah, I saw it. And I like to show people exactly how they are. I saw it and I put it out there on purpose. He could have said that. He don't even support his own decisions with his full chest. He got to gaslight us and lie to our face, in my opinion.
Hold up. Let me go back a little bit. Y'all tell me in the comments what you think. I'm going to go play it back where he talks about, I think he's just trying to be, I don't know if he's just trying to be funny or just passive aggressive or what.
That's today. I'm always at my stomach. It's the meth. How am I? It's the meth. Putting the meth in my. There's the queen, and RuPaul's Drag Race queen, and her name was Crystal Method. I was wondering if she just fucking named herself that so she could get drugs for free on the job. I'm gonna get drugs soon then. It's gonna look more. Your nipples are showing. You're gonna get in trouble. I'm in trouble. Like I got in trouble. I don't have text.
Something else. The fact that Mark Laita is comparing a man a self-proclaimed man. I'm telling y'all what the person just said. All right. A man who's an adult, who's a consenting bleep worker, who has the notice and the knowledge to know what the consequences are for coming on this channel because this person has done so many, many, many times. All those things somehow to Mark Laita, and he would like for us also, are all the same as a 13-year-old child who's never been exposed in that way, coming on with her bare chest out and about. So to Mark Laita, that's the same thing. And it just shows me that he's either being deliberately obtuse, like on purpose stupid, and he knows exactly what he's doing, or he has neurological degeneration. Because there's no possible way that the man isn't fucked up in the head somehow and truly doesn't see the difference between a naked child and a self-proclaimed man. Yeah, it is. It's a false analogy. It's not the same thing. Okay? Yeah, no, it was just yes, exactly. Jamie said Mark didn't make Rebecca cover to the nipples after this. So he was obviously just trying to make a flippant, facetious jab at that point, and that is what he was trying to do, and he likes to make people feel stupid, and I do believe Mark Laita is less stupid than the average person. I think he's educated both in a traditional way and in a common sense, street smarts way. He's been all around the world. He's met a lot of different types of people. He's, been privileged in his life. He has money, he has access. I think he's intelligent compared to average. He's nowhere near as intelligent as me, unfortunately for him, which is why he has to do these logical leaps and, flips and abuse tactics, in my opinion, to make his points because he's not smart enough to make a real point. So, yeah. Hold on, let me get this super chat. We need Taz's Angels. Who's Taz? Oh, thank you for the super chat, Christina. I did not know about this story. Um, so he likes to try and make people feel stupid. And in my opinion, that is what he is doing here. He is trying to make his critics, any of them, not just me, anybody, feel stupid for caring that he posted naked video of a child online. He would like if we felt stupid for that, because if we feel stupid, if his critics feel stupid, then maybe they won't criticize him in the future. Maybe they'll second guess themselves. Maybe they won't want to put their comment publicly out there because maybe they feel stupid or something. I think it helps Mark feel less stupid if other people feel stupid. And so I just have to sort of put my foot down in the eye of the hurricane here, though, and just say, just fucking stop. Excuse my language. Just stop, dude. There is absolutely no way that you can analogize or equate a naked child who didn't legally have the ability to consent to being naked and talking about sex with a 60-something-year-old pervert, in my opinion, pervert, online, to go out to be seen by potentially millions of people who God knows how many freaks, sick, beep, have that video now and doing God knows what with it. You the stupid one, if you think that is the same as this man's nipples. You stupid. Sorry, in my opinion. It's gaslighting. It's gaslighting. It's disgusting. How old is Mark? He like 63, 62. Who knows? I mean, who knows?
I'm a man. I just fuck. I just eat. Isn't that weird? I did a video of a 13-year-old prostitute.
Yes. Yes, Mark, it is weird that you did that video. Put a red flag in the live chat if you think it's weird. Isn't that weird? I did a video with a 13-year-old bleep. Isn't that weird? And she was naked and people had a problem with it. Isn't that weird? This is something else that narcissists do. Now, I'm not an expert. Actually, I am, because y'all should see this comment section. I'm an expert in narcissists because I field y'all's comments all day. But go get your own diagnosis. I would never diagnose anybody with anything, but this is a narcissistic tactic where you try to kind of recruit a perceived majority to sort of gang up on your victim to make them feel stupid. And in this case, we have these two artsy fartsy, you know, art snobs talking about how, us peasants just don't understand art. And isn't it just so crazy? And I'm not saying nothing bad about Rebecca. I'm really not. I don't know enough even about Rebecca to even say anything bad, to be honest. But I'm just saying this is the perception, right? That I believe Mark is trying to build. That not only does Mark think that his critics are stupid, but he's actually thinks they're stupid enough to say it with his chest to another grown human, record themselves talking about it, and then act like they had a behind the scenes gossip session about us, about the critics. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that Mark Laita did a video with a 13-year-old bleep? Yes, it is. He shouldn't have never did that video. And isn't it also equally as crazy that he didn't notice a professional photographer? He's been a professional photographer taking pictures of people for at least 20 years professionally for like exhibition. And he didn't notice what all of us noticed instantaneously because he's not a tits man.
And she had a bikini top that I wasn't even aware that you could see through it.
Oh, isn't that weird?
Yes.
I got in trouble. I did a video of a 13-year-old prostitute, and I wasn't aware with a bikini top, and I wasn't aware of. Y'all keep supporting this shit. Keep doing you.
Really? Like, I'm not a breast man, so I'm not really looking at her breasts, but
You're not a breast man. I'm not looking at her breast. Well, damn, she's a child. Like, what? What?
What do you like in a woman's body?
the shape of her waist and hips and all that.
Yeah.
Legs.
This all started because they were talking about a child, just so y'all remember.
So you like more like curved kind of.
Long,
Curving, like slinky
tall and thin with nice curves.
tall and thin but nice curve. Which is not easy to put together.
Nope.
Is that a joke? How you tall and thin and nice curves?
Hard.
It's really
It's really hard because it's like saying I like them tall and thin and short. You can't have all them. Like, what do you mean? I like them with black hair and also platinum blonde. What? What are you talking about? That's a hard combination to get because it don't exist. And I know I'm being a little bit, flippant. Obviously, there is BBLs or whatever. But generally, if you just like a homegrown human and you're tall and thin, it's not going to be curvy. You generally, if you have what Mark is calling nice curves, you're not thin. How are you thin in curves? And again, like I said, I do know there's like ways to, look a certain way. And I do know it's not always surgery. Sometimes it's natural. But y'all, please, tall and thin and nice curves. He's not a tits man. So I'm just confused.
When some say Zoe or I see OE. What that's it? In the red.
But so this video I posted, it's a cat. I posted a video, and you could apparently see her nipples. I never noticed, but the people got so upset and they couldn't even hear her story.
Mm-hmm.
So your nipples are gonna.
He's full of first of all, this is how Mark apologizes. He denies. What's the name of that method? It's like DARPO. No, what is it called? It's like reverse, deny, project, oppose, whatever it is. Like, instead of saying, y'all, listen, I post videos of people how they dress in the wild. And I posted this little girl. I didn't really think about it the way some of y'all brought it up. I could see why y'all think that. I edited it. I didn't like to have to edit it out or whatever, but whatever. Y'all are too sensitive in my opinion. No, that's not what he said. No, no. He said, I didn't notice it because I was looking at the 13-year-old's ass instead of the titties, and I didn't even notice it. And can you even believe people were upset? He's trying to minimize something that we all saw. Okay. We saw it. We know what in the hell. It was very obvious. It was very clear and obvious. The nipples were showing. It didn't need a magnifying glass. And to be honest, Laita spent way more time around this child in person and editing her naked body than any of us. And we noticed it just that quick. You mean to tell me he spent hours videoing it, interviewing her, editing, and he never noticed something that all of us noticed instantaneously? No, he's full of shit, in my opinion. I never even noticed it. Shut up. It's a lie. That's not true, in my opinion. I don't believe it. I'll tell you that.
Controversy.
No, your nipples won't be any problem. No one's gonna scream that we can see Rebecca's nipples, but this girl's nipples were.
Yeah, this girl is a child. That has something to do with it. Second of all, I mean, there is a little bit of a double standard. Let's not, I'm not trying to compete at the woke Olympics, but there's definitely a little double standard. Instagram will not let a woman post a nipple, but it will let a man. It's part of a little bit of people's problem about sexism and things. But the world that we do live in right now, a lot of them still do have that discrimination of, yes, it is different if it's a little girl, if it's the girl, a woman at all. And it's not just like general, like people's opinions. It's like social media platforms, community standards will allow a male nipple, will not allow a female one. Now, is that something they should be discriminating on the basis of? I mean, we can get into an argument about it. We can get into a discussion. We can debate about it. What my opinion is on it doesn't actually matter. What my opinion is on it doesn't matter because it's irrelevant to the fact it was a child. Yes, Mark, I am so sorry and embarrassed. I am embarrassed, secondhand embarrassed for you, Mark Laita, that I got to be the one to tell you this like this, okay? Because clearly you're too fucking stupid, too obtuse to notice something super obvious. So since you clearly don't have your own ethics or a compass, you can borrow ours. There's a difference between posting a little girl who cannot legally consent to be on the internet naked or with you in a room naked. Yes, there is a difference between posting that for the public's consumption and a grown man calling himself a man willingly participating in substances and continuously going back and back and back on your channel. Yes, there is a difference. Yes, there is. The law might actually even agree. I don't know, innocent until proven guilty. Yes, Mark, that is why people have a problem with you posting a naked little girl on your channel and not a naked grown man. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. The man has more money than sense.
They turn off the comments because I guess then.
Well, how old is Rebecca?
Thank you.
I mean, y'all see a problem with this? This guy is so passive aggressive and so, I don't even know what the word is. He has no, like, is he just pretending that he doesn't understand what the issue is?
Yes.
Because clearly he had to turn off the comments. You don't just turn off the comments to fucking turn off the comments unless YouTube tells you to turn off the comments.
And I feel the same way about blurring it out. You blurred it out for some reason. At some point you saw them nipples though, didn't you?
Why the hell would he say, well, I have to turn off the comments? He saw something for what it was. He says, I didn't even notice. You didn't notice? I guess I'm just like, are you just saying I didn't notice and I didn't know? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. For him to say that he doesn't notice that on a woman? Okay, but you noticed that she was wearing a bikini top? Is it just me is he just trying to?
Yes, this is a good point. If his channel didn't bleep-ualize every single person who came on there, It might be something that actually means something, but no. Now, I'm not going to say he goes so far as to be bleep hub, but what I will say that we know is that he definitely sells this more salacious content on his Patreon / private website channel or whatever. I don't know if it's Patreon, but whatever. Wait, hold on. I'm reading y'all's comments. Throwing Laita. Okay, let's see. I was born, no, and he doesn't. And he doesn't. And he says that just so he can get people all upset and going off on their channels about him. Probably. Because I mean, in some ways, and that's why I said the very first video I ever made about this, I was like, I don't know if I actually want to even cover it. Because it's like sending more pun intended traffic over there. And I have begged y'all, don't go and watch this specific video. But I mean, I had to tell, my thoughts and my opinions on it. And I had to spread the awareness of it because I felt like if I didn't stand up, first of all, who was? And, I mean, I'm sure y'all remember reading those books and things when we were younger and stuff. And you're thinking like, what kind of person just sees this going on and does nothing? And I can't say something about every single thing, but I feel like posting videos of little girls where you can see their intimate parts and they are not, really legally able to even consent to talking about this type of stuff, doing this type of stuff with this man and stuff like that. I mean, I had to say something.
Deflect from here, or is he just trying to like act like we are the ones with the problem here? I mean,
Yes.
turn off the comments.
My nipples are not sacred to me. The baby feet.
It's not fair.
I don't care. I don't like to do my nipples. Like it's just weird to me. You know what I mean? Like I get really passionate about things that I do stuff, but when it's like sometimes
What kind of what's your thing?
Muscular. Oh, I like muscular dudes, like rough stuff, like hot muscle boys. I kind of chubby boys. I don't like skinny boys. I hate skinny boys.
Right here. Let's go back a little bit to, because he talks about it again right around the 8-minute mark.
Okay.
Well, there we go.
I did a video of a 13-year-old prostitute, and she had a bikini top that I wasn't even aware that you could see through it.
Oh really?
Like I'm not a breast fan, so I'm not really looking at her breast. But
what do you like in a woman's body?
The shape of her waist and hips and all that.
Yeah.
Legs.
So you like more like curved kind of
long,
curving, like
tall and thin with nice curves.
Tall and thin but nice curves. Huh. Which is not the easiest mix together.
No, it's hard.
It's really. Let's sound like color. Sometimes go or I see OE. What that's it? In the red.
But so this video I posted. It's a cat.
Oh.
I posted a video, and you can apparently see her nipples. I never noticed, but the people got so upset they couldn't even hear her story.
Like Mark Laita is such a busy and important man. He couldn't even be bothered to notice the naked child in his video. It's just, he just never even noticed it. It's like he had other stuff going on in his life. Like he had other stuff to do than notice the little girl. Other stuff to do.
So
the people got so upset they couldn't hear her story.
We heard her story loud and clear. We heard the story loud and clear. And part of the story is you exposing her like you did to all of us.
Okay.
Nipples are gonna
controversy.
No, your nipples won't be any problem. No one's gonna scream that we can see Rebecca's nipples, but this girl's nipples were. I had to turn off the comments because it got so bad.
How about she's 13? I cannot.
You tell it on yourself, Mark. You are telling on your own damn self when you can't see the most obvious shit in the room. It's a little girl. And you're talking about, I'm not a tits man, I'm an ass man. What part of a woman's body? Asking Rebecca what Rebecca is into in the bedroom. And it's all the while staged around the context of talking about a little girl, a child. This ain't like, she's 17 going on 18. No, 13.
My nipples are not sacred to them. They refuse.
It's not fair.
I don't know what's funny about that is the nipples is not sacred to anything. Like, what?
I don't care. I don't like when dudes play on my nipples. Like it's just weird to me, you know what I mean? Like I get really passionate about things that I do stuff, but when it's like,
I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I speculate that this is a subject change because Rebecca doesn't want to get roped into this weird shit.
What's your thing?
muscular. Oh, ooh.
So then he moves on. I mean, I think he's just throwing shade at everybody that had something to say. He had to turn off the comments. Nobody could hear Nova's story. That's really what it was.
And this is the thing. This is the thing. Instead of Mark saying, whoa, there was so much negative comment feedback that maybe there was just something I missed. Maybe I should have noticed. Oops, my bad, y'all. Good point. I didn't even notice that. That's not something I'm normally looking at. Especially when it comes to a child. Didn't even notice it, but you know what? Good point. I edited that out. I didn't even notice it. But what's he telling? He's telling on himself. Even if he did notice it, he thinks we're stupid for having a problem with it because it's the same thing as this grown man's nipples. So we're stupid for having a problem with it. Is that the reason? Or is it, I didn't even notice, but I guess if I would have noticed, I maybe would have done something different and covered it up. Nope, that's not what he said. He said, first of all, I couldn't even be bothered to notice it. But even if I did notice it, they're stupid for getting so upset. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird that I made the video in the first place? Isn't that weird that I interviewed this little girl naked? Isn't that weird that her mom came out, the little girl's mom, saying that I paid her extra money to expose herself like that publicly? Isn't it weird that I put it out without running it by anybody else because it is a child after all? Isn't it weird that the mom had allegedly lost custody of this child? Isn't it weird she's too young to consent? Isn't it weird that I allowed her to disclose where she was a victim of child, trafficking? Isn't that weird that I allowed her to promote illegal content? Isn't that weird that those people had a problem with it? Weirdos.
A lot of us heard the story. I think a lot of us were disgusted by it. And then the way he just kind of like, oh, it's not a big deal or whatever. I mean, it is a big deal to us. So this is the thing
It is.
about, children on the internet.
Period. Period. It is a big deal to me. If it's a big deal to you, like the video. Tell me in the live chat, tell me in the comments, yes or no big deal. Spoiler alert, if you say no, it's not a big deal, I'm going to just block you from the channel. So, do that if you want to at your own risk. You don't have to say it is a big deal, but don't be trying to be cute because it is a big deal. I'm not sorry about it. I don't feel bad or guilty about it. I know for a fact, it's wrong. I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm saying it's wrong, morally, ethically, for Mark to have put that baby on the internet like that. Yes, it was wrong. Yes, it was. Yes, I'm pissed about it. I'm not sorry I'm pissed about it. Outraged, even. Incensed. I'm not sorry about it. I don't feel stupid about it. And I know for a fact I'm on the right side of this morally. I know that I am. It's a hill I'm willing to die on. You're not going to catch me coming on here half-assing about stuff I didn't even notice being a tits man. No, you're not. I'm saying it with my full chest. Lungs full of breath. Yes, we have a problem with it. It's wrong. It's dirty. It's bad. It's immoral. Depraved and deranged. The man is clearly desensitized to a degree that is, frankly, concerning.
That's just how I see it. I stand by what I said. I think Mark Laita is disgusting. I think it was perverse. And I think that he should do better, as well as Nova's mother. That is what I said. I said what I said. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This was just a quick little reaction.
And I'm glad that Rabbit reacted to that, because it kind of like makes it easier to see her having a lot of the same opinions as me before, you know, I even saw it or knew about it. And I didn't fully remember even what she had said. It definitely makes me feel a little more validated, although it really wouldn't matter to me if not one single person on planet Earth agreed with me publicly and stuff like that, because I know in fact it's wrong to put a little girl or a little boy so exposed talking about such sexualized stuff to a grown up for public consumption for entertainment. It's wrong. But thankfully, other people are, you know, helping to soften the blow and, you know, around with it. Seriously. So that's pretty much all I have for that. What I will say is innocent till proven guilty. Is it illegal? Is it against the law? No, maybe. I don't know. If someone thinks it is, they should report to the appropriate authorities. I am not saying Mark Laita committed any crimes. I'm not saying he didn't, but I don't know. I am not law enforcement. In my opinion, it was wrong of him to do it, and I think we should not stand for it as a civilization. But I would say, you know, don't go and send any hate or anything to anybody mentioned in this video. I did want to like do a reaction, like where I watch a video for like a throwback Thursday or whatever, but honestly, I'm just feeling a little talked out. So I think that's going to be all I'm going to do for today as far as new topics. Please do go and check out the recent videos I've been doing on BJ Investigates, because I'm down in the web. I have like a bunch of different sketches of this, but it's like all the Motown, like Dick Scott, Berry Gordy, what is it, Lou Pearlman, you know, we've got Usher down here. Yeah, maybe we'll watch one of those. Thank you, Riley. Soon. Yeah, no, it's just it's asinine. I can't even deal with it. But yeah, I'm going to go rest my voice for the rest of the day, and I'm going to work a little bit on a news script or like timeline or whatever. It's not really a script because I don't like necessarily read it verbatim, but I got some research coming down the track for a lot of this stuff. A lot of the stuff that y'all actually have requested that I make videos about is going to actually end up happening, because I don't know, let's try that for a minute. That's all I really have for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.